The following program is brought to you in compatible color, pioneered and developed by RCA. NBC Matinee Theater. Devised and produced for NBC by Albert McCleary, presents Eddie Cantor in George Has a Birthday by Jean Clifford Raymond, with May Clark, Lillian Bronson, and Madeline Holmes.
Well, Harry, thank you, Harry, for coming back early. It seems I never get enough time during our regular lunch period.
That's how it is. That's elevator, man. We have our ups and downs.
Oh, how you think of those things is just wonderful. I beg your pardon, I'm sorry.
Yes, it's innocent for a new girl. You're doing very, very well. No telling how far a girl like you will go. Yes, you got it. That brain?
Young man, where are girls?
I believe you'll find that item on the 6th floor. The 6th floor, madam. What it takes for you to find.
Like this, got it.
Dear Alice, I'm sorry I couldn't meet you in our accustomed place, the cafeteria today, but especially when you had my favorite sandwiches, but you see, I just had to make this record. Even though I've given you 3 already this month, and we've been together 11 years, still when I get in front of you, I can't say the things which I can say on the record. I'll tell you why this is the most important one. You see, on Thursday, I'm going to celebrate my birthday, and that's when I get my inheritance. I never told you how much, but it's quite a sum. So much so I can even quit Hartman's department store, but I'd never do that. However, you should quit. That is, if you do me the honor and say yes, then we could be married on Saturday, and I'd be much obliged. Sincerely, George. Oh, Harry, did I take too much time?
Nope. I see you have another record, huh? I'll bet I know who it's for.
I bet you don't.
Das is Alice.
Oh, you're a peach.
Say, is Alice still crazy about those whodunits, you know, those murder books?
Oh, yes. She's up on every detective story on Smart. Before she's halfway through, she knows what the finish is going to be. That's on account of the clues she picks up.
If she gets any new clues, tell her to give them to me. I gave my old clues to the Salvation Army.
Oh, you should be on television. Really, you should be on television. Hello. Second floor, gents furnishing, luggage, sporting goods, toys. Alice. Where to, Alice?
6th floor, please. George, this is the 4th defective truck today. I think our buyers should see it.
Well, it's a good thing they have you in the toy department. And if you didn't have to relieve in the book department...
Oh, I enjoyed that.
Well, kind of keeps you up on all the latest mystery stories, huh?
I'm not the only one. The sister Roslyn was in again today. I think she likes mystery stories almost as much as I do.
Mm-hmm. 4th floor, fur coats, better clothes, Regency room.
George, I missed you at lunch.
I missed you too, dear. 5th floor. 5th floor, tea room, beauty salon. Anyone for the 5th floor? Nobody for the 5th floor? Alice, I hope you remember our date for Thursday night.
Oh, the one night of the week when we can be together. Have I ever?
No, but I'm always afraid that maybe some Thursday night you won't be there. I'm always afraid.
I'll always be there, George.
I'm much obliged. 6th floor, credit department, advertising department, executive offices. Oh, I have this record.
All the way down, George.
Yes, sir. All the way down. Express, sir. Yes, sir. All the way down.
George, how long have you been with us?
24 years and 8 months, sir.
24 years.
And 8 months.
Months, indeed. About due for our 25-year Gold and Platinum Service Award.
Oh, how wonderful.
I'll speak to the board about it.
Okay, that's fine. I appreciate it very much, but what I would like to be is a starter. I'd like to be a starter here.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the 159th production of the NBC Matinee Theater, brought to you live and in RCA-compatible color. This is your host, John Cantor. Well, friends, I'm sure our star needs no introduction. America's great comedian, Eddie Cantor, takes over for today in a delightfully ridiculous piece entitled George Has a Birthday. It was written by Jean Clifford Raymond, and our cast includes May Clark, Lillian Bronson, and Madeline Holmes. The production is under the direction of Boris Sagal. Now, you've already met Eddie, I mean George, the elevator boy in Hartman's department store. Well, like all stalwart, red-blooded Americans, he is a man of ambition, drive, and courage. He wants to rise from his job of operating an elevator to that of starter. That is, the man who stands outside the elevator and issues the commands to all the other operators. Also, he wants to marry Alice, the girl he's been courting for 11 years. So you see, George has all the normal instincts. Let's look in now on Act 1 of George Has a Birthday.
Darling, be sensible. How can I marry you? My paintings are not selling. Someday, yes, the world will understand my technique. In the meantime, I must suffer. Oh, look, I couldn't ask you to do that, too. Is that enough? I have to give you my bills each month.
What?
At worst, I have to be questioned about it.
I only asked about the champagne. It just seems a lot to use in a month.
Look, you want me to make money. To make money, I have to sell my paintings. To sell my paintings, I have to invite prospective buyers. Such people could an artist like Arthur Trent offer them less than champagne?
Oh, of course not, darling. It's just that I thought they might have overcharged you, but I don't mind. Really, I don't.
Well, I do. And I mind very much living like a peasant, having to wear these ready-made rags from Hartman, just because your brother gets an employee's discount. And please, tell your brother not to address me in public when he's wearing that uniform. Elevator operator. Really?
George means well, darling. It's just that, well, certain things he doesn't understand. You mustn't get so upset. Come on, sit down, relax. You do love me, don't you?
Darling, of course I love you, but you know how this business is. So many girls, models, girls who want to become models, art patrons, you know.
Rosalind always tells me I'm too old for you.
No. That's what made you different, kinder. Oh, no, darling, it's just that, well, this whole business.
What?
These bills. I should be paying them, not you. No, we can't go on like this. I'll give up my painting.
Oh.
I'll get a job.
No, your work is your life. Now listen to me. In less than a week, everything will be different.
What are you talking
No,
about?
really. Inside of a week, well, we'll have all the money we need. We can get married. You can order a whole new wardrobe. You can lease that little studio down by the shore. Oh, and you can get that little foreign car you saw last night.
That would take a fortune.
No, not another word, darling. Trust me. We'll have enough money. Only, don't ever stop loving me.
Darling, as if I could.
Oh. Hello? Yes? Just a moment. Rosalind. Rosalind! Telephone!
I think I'll better go. You know how Rosalind feels about me.
Oh, we don't have to worry about Rosalind or anybody else. Just wait. Hello? Yes? Who? Really, Mr. Travis, I'm shocked. Telephoning this house about a grocery bill. Yes, I'm quite aware that it's $400. The check was mailed this morning. Well, I should think you would apologize.
Yes, I'll accept it this time. But don't let it happen again.
I'll take those. Arthur left them by mistake.
A mistake he makes the first of every month. Louise, how can you be such a fool, selling and pawning everything you have, and us not able to pay our own bills?
All right. Who was that on the phone?
Travis the grocer. After me for the same reason Arthur's after you, money.
Now, that's not true. Arthur loves me just because he's down on his luck.
Oh, Louise, you're always in love. Always some fool who can't make a living.
Rosalind, are you really so unhappy these days that your only pleasure is giving pain?
Oh, you never could stand the truth.
The truth? If you want to know the truth, your only joy has been your obsession for gambling. In 10 years, losing your entire inheritance. $500,000.
Well, at least I didn't throw it away on hand-kissing accents like the two you married. Lord knows how many you didn't.
Rosalind, what good does this do? All this harping about the past.
Well, what would you like to talk about? The latest fashions we can't afford to buy? The Riviera where just everybody's going, everybody but us? A new way to vacuum the rugs? I tell you, Louise, I'm sick of it. Nothing to look forward to at night but George and his silly stories about Hartman. Harry the elevator boy's latest joke. I'm tired of scheming and stalling off creditors, pretending I'm an eccentric who won't have servants.
I know. It's difficult for me, too. But there is hope. And don't forget Thursday.
George's birthday? I've thought of nothing else. Bless Father, holding up George's inheritance till he turned 55.
Strange. I guess Father realized George had no head for business.
You could have stopped after the word head. Smartest thing Father ever did was to provide George security in his old age.
I'm sure George will be more generous with us than we were with him.
Oh, we won't have any trouble. I'll see to that.
You! Where are you, girl?
In the living room, George.
Oh, hello, Rosalind. Louise, I brought you some of the latest mechanical toys. Oh, they're so clever. For you, Rosalind, I have a miniature roulette wheel. Not that I approve of gambling, mind you, but it's so new. It's so, and for you, Louise, I have a toy cowboy on a horse because I remember the time you were so crazy about the cowboy when you went to the Dude Ranch.
Yes, George, I'll add them to the collection.
Oh, it was sweet of you to think of us, George, but it's a good thing that girl in the toy department, what's her name, Alice?
Alice?
It's a good thing she doesn't work in the piano department because what would we do with 2 or 3 pianos a week?
Oh, that's a good one. I must tell it to Harry the first thing in the morning. That'll be one on him.
Sit down. Yes, right here. Right on the couch here.
Yes, Rosalind.
Do you realize that in just a few days you're going to be 55? And a very rich 55.
Oh, you mean about the inheritance? Oh, yes. Father's lawyer, Mr. Barrington, called me at the store today and told me that there'd be a lot of papers to sign at the office, so I'm getting some time off on Thursday.
Time off? Why, George, with $500,000 you can quit.
Quit Hartman?
Yes.
Oh, I'd never do that. Why? Just last night I said to myself, George, you have a very fine job, and even when you get your money, you'd be happier on that job.
Oh, you have given some thought to the money, then?
Oh, considerable thought, yes.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yes.
What do you intend doing with it?
Oh, there are many things. For instance, I thought of the times when you girls went to Europe and you'd send me postcards. I've kept every one of those postcards here in the drawer. I have them here, and I look at them every now and then. They're so exciting. For instance, this one, Louise, of Holland with the tulips in color. Is it beautiful? Mm-hmm. And this one, that's from Rome. That's in Italy, you know. And I love the one here from Paris, the Eiffel Tower. I'll never forget the morning I first showed it to Harry. He's so witty, you know. He said, I thought it would be the picture of a French girl because that would be an Eiffel too, he said. You see, that's a play on words. Eiffel.
Yes, George. If it's Europe you want to go to, we'd be glad to take you.
Oh, that's very nice of you. But I've heard you I've heard you say so many times to Louise you'd go out of your mind being cooped up here in this house, just the 3 of us. And I don't blame you because I'm not very good company. You see, all I have is my job and my stamp collection.
But what has that got to do with our going to Europe?
Well, don't you see, each year when I get my vacation, I didn't have enough money to go anywhere, but now I can go someplace and that way we can all have a change. Besides, there are other things.
Well, what things, George?
Well, I can't say just yet. I think I'll go and wash up for dinner, shall I? I'll do that.
Now, look here, George. We should know. What are you going to do with all that money?
Oh, I have plans. I have plans. I have plans that I figure.
Look, he left one of these records again. To Alice from George. I wonder what this one's about.
Well, we'll soon find out.
Dear Alice. Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry I couldn't meet you in our accustomed place in the cafeteria today, especially when you brought along my favorite sandwiches. But I just had to make... This is just about the nicest dinner I ever remember having. You know, I was saying to Alice just the other night, I said, Rosalind would make a wonderful wife for some man, of course. He'd have to be a special kind of a man. Yeah?
George, we've always been so close, Louise, you and I. I can't help feeling just a little bit hurt that you don't want to discuss your plans with us.
Well, you see, my plans are dependent on... But I don't see why I shouldn't tell you. After all, I love you both more than anyone in the whole world, with the exception of Alice.
Oh, a lovely girl, Alice.
You see, up to now, I couldn't marry her not on $50 a week, but I figure that on Saturday, if she'll say yes, we can be married, you see, and we have a 2 weeks vacation, and that will be a sort of a honeymoon-like.
You have my blessing.
Oh, thank you, dear.
Mine too, George.
Oh, thank you. You're so sweet, Louise.
No, George, it's going to seem strange, you married and not living in the house. Come to think of it, we can't keep up the house without you.
Oh, Rosalind, let's not bother George at a time like this.
Yeah.
We'll manage somehow.
Oh, I'm sure you can. You see, I didn't tell you, I've made arrangements to give you each $50 a week from now on.
$50?
Well, that's all I can do.
That's all you can do on $500,000?
Well, you don't understand. I wanted to do more, but Mr. Barrington, the lawyer, said that would be impossible.
What did he say, why?
Yes, he told me. He said, George, the reason... he said, George, I couldn't understand him.
Well, perhaps I should call him.
Yes, you call him Rosalind, and any arrangements you make will be fine with me. Now, if you don't mind, I'll go upstairs and work on my stamp collection. I got a new stamp today from Indonesia.
Yes, George.
It has 2 eagles on it.
Yes, George.
Both facing each other.
Yes, George.
I think it's the same eagle.
Yes, George.
It might be trick photography.
Yes,
They
George.
do that, you know. They do that.
Here it is. Fred Barrington.
Hello? Yes, this is Fred Barrington. Well, Rosalind, what a pleasant surprise. How are you?
Just fine, Fred, and you? Good. Oh, yes, Louise as well. I'm sorry to call you at home, but there seems to be a little misunderstanding about a conversation George had with you. Something about his inheritance.
Oh, yes. George couldn't seem to understand why some of the money couldn't be transferred to you and Louise. Said you deserved it for putting up with him all these years. You know, he seems to have a full-size inferiority complex.
Yes, silly, isn't it? Now, what about this business of transferring the money?
Well, as I explained to George, your father's will specified that since you and Louise received your money years ago, no part of George's inheritance, other than a sum not to exceed $50 a week, could be transferred or loaned or given to either of you as long as George is alive.
As long as George is alive. Yes, I see. That's perfectly clear. I'll explain it to George again. I'm sorry to trouble you. Good night. As long as George is alive.
I'll get it. Oh, Mr. Benedict!
How do you do? I'd like to see you, Mr. Please.
No, she's busy.
No, it's very important, please. I just
Mr.
can't...
Benedict, what on earth are you doing here? Since when do tradesmen call on customers without an invitation? If we need any more jewelry...
Need any more? The next jewelry you'll get will be a pair of bracelets.
How
courtesy of the police department.
dare you? Do you realize you're talking to a member of the Morris family? And the Blue Book for generations?
Well, the Blue Book didn't keep your check from bouncing.
We didn't realize that our account was overdrawn.
Overdrawn? You haven't had an account in that bank for years.
Mr. Benedict, if you'll please be reasonable.
Was it reasonable to come into my store, pick out a $6,000 bracelet, hand my clerk a phony check? Give me that bracelet.
I wish that were possible.
Oh, I can't waste any more time. Here, hand over that bracelet.
We sold it.
Sold it. Sold it? Oh, that's fine. That's fine. The Ritzy Morris sisters. A couple of sharp operators.
Please, Mr. Benedict. We just had to have that cash.
Mr. Benedict, if you'll just give us a little bit of time.
You'll get plenty of time. I'll see to that.
Mr. Benedict, we're not criminals. You'll get it back every cent if you'll just give us a little
Okay.
bit.
Until tomorrow afternoon. Either you put $6,000 into my hands, or I put you ladies in jail.
One moment, please. Tomorrow's impossible. In exactly 1 week, you can have the money. Not before. And certainly not if we're in jail. Now, which would you rather have?
Well, if you
The
can't raise it,
satisfaction or the money?
if you can't raise it by tomorrow, how are you going to get it in a week? Another rubber check?
It so happens that at that time we come into the rest of our inheritance. $500,000.
500. Well, that's $500,000.
Exactly. And we'll be needing more things from you to be paid for in cash.
Cash?
Yes, cash.
Well, all right. But not another minute longer. Good night, ladies.
$6,000.
If you'd only paid some of the bills with it. But to think of the entire $6,000 running last at Jamaica.
As long as George is alive.
Rosamond, you wouldn't. Where are you going?
Calm down. Just getting a book. Police maintain that many deaths listed as accidents may very well be murder. Under certain circumstances, it is impossible to determine the true facts.
Tonight, Robert Montgomery presents a tense drama of a town, its people, and its school system. But most of all, a story of a brave woman. I pledge my loyalty to the school board and to my superintendent, Mr. Elmo Harrows. I pledge that I will faithfully carry out any and all instructions that come from his office. Does this sound like a pledge that any self-respecting high school teacher should be expected to take? Well, one courageous woman thinks not and acts accordingly. This is the tense situation that opens tonight's drama on Robert Montgomery Presents. Hala Stoddard stars as high school teacher Gladys McCullough. She rebels against the dictatorial methods employed by the new superintendent of schools. When Gladys is fired, the town is aroused. Her roommate Maggie, played by Jan Miner, becomes active in organizing a campaign to reorganize the school board. David White is the devoted friend who, compelled by conscience, decides to run for a place on the school board. See this timely and compelling story of how the future of a school system hangs in the balance, while the people of a town search their consciences. It's Storm over Swan Lake on Robert Montgomery Presents tonight on NBC Television. In just a few moments, we will continue with today's presentation on the NBC Matinee Theater.
Why was this teacher dismissed? See Robert Montgomery Presents tonight.
Back now to our star on today's NBC Matinee Theater, Eddie Cantor, in George Has a Birthday by Jean Clifford Raymond, with May Clark, Lillian Bronson, and Madeline Holmes. Well, let's see now. We know that George lives with his two sisters, Louise and Rosalind, and that Louise loves Arthur Trent, a handsome ne'er-do-well whom she's been supporting. We also know that Rosalind is toying with the idea of doing away with brother George, who is about to inherit a fortune on his 55th birthday. It's really amazing how much we know and how little George knows. Coming up now, Act 2 of George Has a Birthday.
Alice, did you get a chance to listen to the record?
I did, George.
And what do you... Yes?
I want to say yes. Yes, George. I want to marry you. I love you.
I'm much obliged. Fourth floor, children's clothes, cradles, cribs, and baby carriages.
Rosalind, suppose something would go wrong.
This plan of mine, our plan, can't fail.
Oh, it's so awful. Our own brother.
Don't be a sentimental fool. All morning I've been up on a stepladder just to break one link in that chandelier. Now, with one good slam of the door...
George will have his accident.
That's right.
Oh, how can you? You're so cold, so cruel. My goodness, it's almost as though you're enjoying it.
Oh, don't be ridiculous.
Yes, you are. You're glad of this chance to do this to poor George. I always knew you hated him. But why? Why? He's so kind. Always happy.
Oh, be quiet.
You're jealous of him. That's what it is. Poor, simple George. Because even without money, he's been something we've never been. He's been happy. No, we just can't do it, Rose.
Louise. Either George dies or we die. Except that we go on living.
What do you want me to do?
Just make certain you don't slam any doors.
You! Where are you, girl?
In here, George.
Oh, Rosalind. Louise. This is to celebrate a big surprise.
Surprise?
Yes. Oh, you're going to be so happy with this thing. Oh, please guess what my surprise is.
You talked to Mr. Barrington and worked out a plan?
No.
Well, what is it?
Look, I, George Morris, am now the starter at Hartman. It's just like being an executive. Aren't you proud of me?
Yes, we are, George. We are very proud of you.
George, you deserve it.
Think of it. With one little click of these castanets, I can make any elevator go up. Rosalind, Louise, do you remember the time when you were cleaning out my bureau drawer and you ran across these and you said, "Why, George Morris, are you practicing to be a Spanish dancer?" I couldn't tell you at that time what my ambition was, that someday perhaps I might take the place of Mr. Benson in his job as starter.
Well, what happened to Mr. Benson?
Well, we got the news this morning. He passed on last night.
Oh, George, that's awful.
Yeah, it's terrible. Say, what is our good dishes doing out here now?
Oh, Rosalind's fixed your favorite dish.
Oh, yeah?
There's pot roast and those little potato pancakes.
Pot roast and the little potato pancakes. It's as if you knew something was going to happen.
Oh, George.
Rosalind, I'd like to go upstairs now and take my nap, and then when I come down, you'll be ready for me?
Yes, George. We'll be ready for you.
Going up, ladies?
He had me fooled with that surprise.
Daughter. Silly fool.
Oh, he'll be down in a minute. Suppose something goes
Nothing
wrong.
will go wrong if you just follow my instructions.
Oh, but it could
I'll
go...
clear away the soup plates and you keep George occupied.
I don't...
Then I'll go out and slam the door hard. And we'll both be rich. Again.
You know, I had such a good nap. The most wonderful nap I've had in a long time. It felt kind of good to have this kind of a nap, you know. Tell me, Rosalind, how long have I been asleep?
How old are you, George?
Well, that's funny. Imagine, we've been talking that Thursday is my birthday, and Rosalind says, "How old are you, George?" That's a good one. I must tell it to Harry.
George, I know how fond you are of chicken gumbo soup.
Yes.
Eat it.
Yes, it's my very favorite, you know. I'm hoping, Rosalind, that maybe you'll give all of your recipes to Alice, and then she'll be the best cook in the whole world.
You love Alice a lot, don't you?
Oh, yes. Yes, I do love Alice. You see, after 11 years, I found I couldn't live without her. But we've been together so long that I'm going to miss you girls when I'm gone.
We're going to miss you too, George. We're going to miss you such a lot.
I know you... Oh, I'm not through with it.
Oh, no, that's all right, George.
Shall I help you?
No, George, you just sit down now. This is a very special day for you. You sit down and be waited on.
All right. Isn't she thoughtful? She's very thoughtful, you know. She knows I've had an exciting day, what with becoming a starter and getting the new stamp from Indonesia with the 2 equal space. What?
My necklace, help me.
Yeah. What?
Oh, George.
Oh. Why, how did that... Oh, my. Imagine if Rosalind was clearing away the plates at this time. Why, she'd have been seriously hurt. She would. She would have been seriously hurt. I'll go in the kitchen and see... excuse me, Rosalind. Oh, you could have been killed. Oh, yes. Yes, you...
What happened?
My necklace fell down, and George helped me to pick it up just at the time that...
Now I've got to figure out something else. This time, stay out of my way. I'm not asking your help. I don't need you. No, I don't need you at all.
Hello, Alice.
Hello, George. You look handsome today.
No, I think it's just the cap. They say the uniform makes the man. Guess what?
What?
Rosalind said I looked a little pale, and she thought maybe I ought to go out and get some fresh air, so guess what?
What?
She's letting me have the car this evening. Right now it's parked in Hartman's garage.
Oh, wonderful, and how sweet of Rosalind. Where should we go?
Well, she suggested that we take the old Cliff Road. It's very nice there.
I'll be ready 5 minutes after closing the door.
Good.
We don't even have to stop for lunch.
Yeah?
I have 2 sandwiches and some fruit left over. I wasn't hungry today. And we can eat in the car.
I'll meet you downstairs where the little old lady sells the flowers. And Alice, you're wonderful.
Likewise. Hello? Yes? No, you have the wrong number. 10 o'clock. Now, if they started riding immediately after work, I know that old Cliff Road.
I didn't think any other night to Mr. Thursday. Rather than go on, I have to go out and have to sit home and talk to him. When I became independent, I finally put my foot down. I said, look here, Thursday nights I've just got to have off to see Alice.
Oh, it's heaven. I can hardly wait till Saturday.
Oh, we have Fridays and Saturdays and Sundays and Mondays.
And Tuesdays and Wednesdays. Our own dear old Thursday.
Well, it looks like we've run out of days, huh?
We'll never run out of days, George.
Oh, Alice, I'm so happy. I can recall the first Thursday night we went out together, and you took me to the Chinese restaurant and tried to teach me how to eat with chopsticks.
Oh, yes, that's
Wasn't that the silliest? I was awful. I bet I was the only fella you ever saw with a tie made out of pure chop suey. Oh, I better keep both hands on the wheel. That's the second time this happened. The wheel jiggles, you know.
A Thursday night I'll never forget the time we went to the drive-in movie. Remember, George, how sad the picture was, and I cried.
Yes, I was sad too, but not on account of the picture. It was because I saw you cry. I could never stand to see anybody cry, especially someone who's very close to me, you know?
George! George, what are Yes? Who? Oh, for you. Hello? Oh, Arthur, dear. Oh, you startled me. Yes. Well, I told you, dear, this time next week, everything will be taken care of. Yes, I promise, dear. Yes. Yes, I love you, too. Mm-hmm. Good night, darling. Oh, George!
I had an accident. Honestly, I wasn't going fast, Rosalind, but the wheel got out of control and I crashed into a wall.
A wall?
Yes, it's a good thing that you called me, Louise, at the store and told me to stay off the Cliff Road tonight, that it would be windy. Otherwise, Rosalind, if I'd have been up on the Cliff Road and I went out of control,
George,
we'd have come right over.
George, you need a hot bath and get to bed. I'll help you upstairs. Come on, darling.
No, I'm all right. I'm all right. I wasn't hurt. It's just a shock, you see. I'll be all right. Good night, girls. I'll be all right.
No. I don't need you. I don't need you at all.
By special request, NBC again presents The Twisted Cross, the rise and fall of a fanatic, Adolf Hitler. Here are a few scenes from this powerful show.
What makes a dictator? What makes a nation yield? NBC's exciting Project 20 and the producers of Victory at Sea and Nightmare on Red now bring you the dramatic, memorable story, The Twisted Cross. The shabby beginnings of a little man with dreams of power. The same dreams still in the warped mind during World War I. Birth of the Third Reich, and from obscurity screams a name that frightens the world, Adolf Hitler. The rise of a dictator as a cruel disease grips a nation. What makes a dictator? And what makes a nation bend under the will of a madman? And what then happens to such a nation? See the rise, the rule, and the fall of history's most infamous dictator, Adolf Hitler. Millions demanded to see it again. Watch The Twisted Cross, Tuesday night on NBC television.
In just a few moments, we will continue with today's presentation on the NBC Matinee Theater.
Another crisis in the Victor household. See Caesar's Hour tonight.
Now meet a young woman with a full-time job. She's a chauffeur, housekeeper, cook, laundress, teacher, hostess. In other words, she's a mother.
Next to us, Mommy likes Tide clean clothes.
The cleanest clean possible is Tide Clean.
Tide Clean, Tide Clean, Tide Clean.
Woo! Bang! Bang, bang!
Young cowboys are sure rough on clothes. But with Tide, it's no problem to get them clean again. Say, what's that Mom is doing? Why, she's folding the wash she's just done. And look at those big, fluffy Tide Clean bath towels.
These are the kind of things I like next to my family. Tide Clean. You know, there can be such a difference in cleanness. But the very first time I used Tide, I knew I could never settle for anything less again. It's so terribly important to me that everything the boys wear is as clean as it can be. Yes, next to my family, I like Tide Clean clothes.
Next to your family, you'll like Tide Clean Clothes, too. No leading wash day product made. Nothing can beat Tide for getting those clothes clean. Tide brought to wash day the world's greatest cleaning power. And that cleaning power has never been beaten. The cleanest clean possible is Tide Clean.
Tide Clean, Tide Clean, Tide Clean.
Back now to our star on today's NBC Matinee Theater, Eddie Cantor in George Has a Birthday by Jean Clifford Raymond, with May Clark, Lillian Bronson, and Madeline Holmes. Well, there's no getting away from it. Charming George leads a charmed life. He's had so many narrow escapes, heavens knows what else could possibly happen to George. But here goes Act 3.
Alice, I looked for you in toys, but they told me I'd find you here in the book department. I could hardly wait for the coffee break to come and apologize for what happened last night. Wasn't it awful?
Oh, it was terrifying. It's lucky we weren't killed.
Oh, yeah. Well, you know I wasn't going fast because you were there. You saw, but if the wheel went out...
I know.
Are you taking all of these 3 books?
No, just this one.
Yeah.
I read it once, a long time ago, but I think I'll just go through it again.
Uh-huh. Say, but do you think that's a good book to have? A happy book after what happened last night? One that make you feel terrible?
Oh, I can't feel any worse than I feel now. And George, I think this is perfectly dreadful.
Yeah, but I know how you feel, dear, but when a person feels that way about another person, it's a kind of a special thing that they feel about that person, I think.
George, if anything happens to you, well, I wouldn't want to live.
Oh, don't say that, Alice, but I guess you're just saying that because you love me, huh?
You're my whole life.
Likewise.
But George, doesn't it seem strange that you had this accident just the other day just 2 days ago, the chandelier in your home crashed down and...
Well, I told you it's an old house. Everything is falling apart there.
I know, but to fall on the exact spot where just a moment before you were sitting.
Well, accidents can happen. Yes.
Oh, but sometimes accidents can be arranged.
Accidents can be... Well, it would be murder. Now, who would want to murder me? I'm nobody.
Oh, no, you're not. You're somebody who might have something somebody wants.
Something that somebody... Oh, no. Oh, what a fool. Now I understand. Yes. Yes, somebody wants my job as starter, huh?
Oh, no.
No, they wouldn't, but no. I just can't figure it out.
No, I can't either, not just yet. But the answer may be in this book.
Yeah.
Can't stop now. It's too late to turn back. If you interfere tonight, we'll both be on our way to jail tomorrow.
I know.
George isn't going to be hurt. He's just going to have some champagne.
But you know he doesn't drink.
I know. But he will tonight.
Happy birthday to me. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, George.
Happy birthday, dear.
Happy birthday, Rosalind. Oh, I see you starting to celebrate my birthday already. Have I got a surprise for you girls later?
I can hardly wait.
Pray, tell us, what is it?
Well, if I told you, it wouldn't be a surprise, would it now?
Oh, please tell us.
All right, I don't see why I shouldn't. I've invited a certain person to come here and help celebrate my birthday with me.
Oh, I'll bet I can guess who. Alice?
Yeah.
Alice is coming here tonight?
Yes.
Right here?
Yes.
Now?
Oh, yes.
Well,
How clever you are to guess it, but you always were good at
then
guessing
I
it.
must propose a toast to our very special dinner guest.
no.
Louise? George?
Rosalind, you know I don't drink. I've never...
I know, but you must drink to Alice. To Alice, the sweetest girl in all the world.
The sweetest girl in the world, Alice.
To Alice. Oh, this tickles. That champagne is wonderful, isn't it?
Drink up, George.
Oh, sure. As they say, there's plenty more where this comes from, huh?
You're not going to have more, George?
Oh, sure. There's nothing to this thing. You close your eyes, it tastes like ginger ale. It doesn't affect me at all.
Drink up, George. It's like old times.
Oh, yes. Just like old times. When you'd give champagne parties here at the house, and you'd invite your friends, and You always thought I was asleep, but no, I was upstairs peeking down. I saw your friends drinking champagne. They were so happy, so gay.
Yes, champagne often has that effect on people.
Oh, yes.
It's hard to realize you're 55 today.
Well, not exactly. You see, I went to sleep last night, and I was 54. I got up this morning, so I'm a very young 55.
Oh, darling.
Would you say that, Louise?
It's a whole dream.
A dream. Well, yes, a dream. Would you like to hear the dream I had last night?
Yes, George, let's hear it.
I dreamed there was 100 elevators and thousands of people in these elevators, and the elevator operators were shouting, "Going up, going up!" And the people said, "No, we can't go up because George isn't here to start us."
Then what happened?
Then I came along, Rosalind, with my little castanets. And it went 1, 2, 3, 4, and the elevator started going up, 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 up. And I felt so important because somebody needed me. You see, they wouldn't go up until I clicked my little castanets.
Oh, George, your glass is almost empty. Let me give you one more drink.
No, I think I've had enough, Rosalind.
Now, just one more, George.
All right, Rosalind, but make this one my last, huh?
Yes, this one will be your last. I promised you.
Isn't she nice, Rosalind? Drink up, Louise. There's plenty more where this comes from. We got a lot of champagne in our cellar. Whatever happened to our cellar? Whatever happened to the champagne? Whatever happened to Rosalind?
Here, George.
Rosalind?
Drink up.
Oh, here you are, Rosalind. You know, Rosalind, I dreamed about you too last night.
You did?
Oh, yes. You're Rosalind. You're the tall one, aren't you? I dreamed that you were chasing Louise and you were angry at her. Oh, you were furious. You were furious. And then you grabbed the haul of Louise and you shook her and you slapped her and she cried. And I was sad because I can't stand to see people cry, especially someone I love.
Drink up, George. Drink it.
All right, I'll drink it.
Don't do it, George. Don't shut up, you fool.
See, she's crying just like in my dream.
Don't try to do it.
Drink up, George, to Alice.
To Alice.
The sweetest girl in all the world.
To Alice.
Don't. Oh.
You know, I never had a headache in all my life, and all of a sudden there's a pounding. I think I'll go upstairs and lie down, and then I'll feel a little bit better.
Yes, George, you'll feel better when you lie down.
Well, I think we can proceed. This is the last will and testament of George Morris. It's legally in order and duly executed, but I'm not going to read it.
You're not going to read it?
No.
And why not?
Well, you see, I must explain. George was very anxious to find some way he could personally tell his loved ones the provisions of his will.
But I don't understand.
I know it seems a little strange, but you know how George was. He accomplished this purpose with the help of a movie camera. In other words, he made a film, which, in accordance with his wishes, I'm now going to show you. I just pull up this screen, switch off the light, and
Hello. This is the morning of my birthday, my 55th. It may seem strange to some people to be making out a will on your birthday, but you see, I've had so many accidents lately. 2 in 2 days, that's a lot.
That's what I said, George, remember?
And after the last one, I said to myself, George, when you see Mr. Barrington, you better ask about making a will because there are people depending on you, people you love, and they love you.
I love you, George. I do.
And if anyone is crying, you stop it right this minute because you know I can't stand to have people cry. That's why I made the film, to tell everybody in person, don't cry.
I won't, George. I won't, I promise.
Now then, if he's alive when I'm not, I want my best friend, you know Harry Zimmerman, who always made the day so pleasant with his jokes. Well, to Harry, I leave $5,000 of my stamp collection, which he admired so much. And to my sisters, Rosalind and Louise, I have arranged for each of them to get $50 a week for life. And the balance of my estate I bequeath to my dear wife, Alice.
Wife? He wasn't married.
No, he wasn't to be married till the Saturday following his birthday.
George changed his mind. Thursday morning, after receiving his inheritance and making this film, he asked if I'd meet him and Alice at City Hall. I witnessed the ceremony.
We were going to tell you at his birthday dinner.
Yes, but he didn't tell us.
I know, but he didn't say anything.
Please, ladies, there is more of this film.
And dear Rosalind and Louise, if you're alive when I'm not, don't ever worry again, because when you need anything, just talk to my beloved wife Alice, and I know that she will see that you get what you deserve.
I will, George, I will.
And now I guess I'll have to close. This elevator going up?
George! You heard what George said? I was to give you...
Yes, it's sweet of you to want to comply with his wishes, but certainly there's no hurry about
yes.
it.
Yes, there is. This is for you. For both of you. For us? Yes. We have read this, and I told Mr. Barrington about it, and he's waiting to discuss this with you.
And that, friends, was the life and the death of a chap named George. NBC Matinee wishes to thank Eddie Cantor for providing us with what is assuredly one of the highlights of this series. I'll be back in a moment with a final word.
Right on the spot with Tide. Mr. Clown will be full of cookies from now on because Mom will have more time to bake now that she has her new Marquette automatic washer. And showing her how to use it, here's her neighbor, Jim Morford, Marquette sales manager.
Delicious.
Thanks, Jim. Now, tell me more about my new Marquette.
Well, Sally, I showed you the easy control dial. And once your clothes are in this tub with its Surgimatic water action, you can walk away. Because the electrical and mechanical brain takes over. Your clothes are swirled and flexed again and again through hot, sudsy water currents.
Say, there's my old friend Tide. I'm the gal who can tell you there's nothing cleaner than a Tide wash. Well, I've used Tide for years.
Well, you go right on using it. Marquette recommends Tide. Matter of fact, we put a free box in every new machine. That's to make sure the machines work perfectly and give you really clean clothes right from the start.
And lady, the cleanest clean possible is Tide Clean. Tide is packed in so many famous automatics. The makers of 25 automatic washers recommend Tide. In their top-loading machines, no leading wash day product made. Nothing can beat Tide for getting clothes clean, including the sudsless products. Yes, the cleanest clean possible is Tide Clean. Use Tide in your automatic.
Yes? Eddie Cantor, I thought you were dead. Dead on a live program and in color? Don't be silly, John.
And you really look like a doll in color, Eddie, I want to tell you. Congratulations on a marvelous dramatic performance.
Well, thank you. You're very kind, John, but that's nothing. If you wanted to see a real dramatic performance, you should have caught me in November.
November? I don't seem to recall...
That's the night Ida asked me for $10,000 for a new mink coat. You should have seen the performance.
Yes, I can imagine you really gave a dramatic performance when you said, yes, Ida. Tell me, Eddie, how did it feel playing the part of elevator operator in a department store?
Well, it's okay for television, but actually I haven't set my foot in a department store since last Christmas in St. Louis, Stixby and Fuller.
Yeah.
I was in the toy department picking up some toys for my grandchildren. There was a mother with a little child around, could have been over 2 years old, and he kept staring at me. I kept staring back. After all, I've got something to stare with, you know.
It is reputed, yes.
And finally, the kid got curious. He poked his finger in my eye. I let out a yell. You could have heard me in Cleveland. Kid said to his mama, "Mama, buy me that Popeye. It squeaks."
Well, Eddie, it was a little more pleasant having Alice in the toy department in the play.
Yes, she's a fine actress, Lillian Bronson, and we've had a great cast here. May Clark and Madeline Holmes and Paul Cavanaugh and Benny Baker and say that Boris Segal, fine director.
Yes.
You know, I don't know how Albert McCleary does this day after day. He must be a genius with
Well,
this.
we think he is, Eddie.
And you, John, I've been watching you so long on this show, months and months and months and months, and you always give a great performance, and you look so nice. You wouldn't want to change suits, would you? No.
Thank you. I kind of like
You're
it.
getting the voice of it. And in color, 5 times a week. I don't know how you do it. Well, that's not true. I do know how you do it. After rehearsing and doing this thing for the last couple of days, you have a smooth running machine here that works so efficiently.
Well, that's a real compliment, Eddie, coming from you with your
true.
marvelous background. in
It's true,
show
because
business.
each job is done promptly and right on schedule. It's right, bing, 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 like that. And I'll tell you something, one more thing.
What?
Today is the first time that my family is watching any show on television on color. I bought a color set just for today.
Wonderful.
I give you my word, John.
Gee, that's...
Ida's watching it, Margie, Natalie. We haven't got enough time for all the names.
All right.
But people ought to get themselves a color set and watch the show. And from now on, I'll be watching every single day. And one more thing, John.
Yes, Eddie.
I don't know whether it's in line, whether I should ask you, but
Well, speak up.
where do I pick up my money?
Will you get back in your
Oh.
elevator on your post? Thank you, Eddie Cantor. It was a real delight. Friends, what is the first thing that you think of when you see these? Somebody slipping over them, isn't that right? In other words, you might call these banana peels symbols representing all manner of mischief, such as the kind that you'll see perpetrated by a pair of overactive juveniles in tomorrow's comedy titled The Serpent's Tooth. And here is a picture of them. George and William by name. They are caught in the act of, well, you'll find out tomorrow. And over here is their father, Mr. Hoyt. Mr. Hoyt will be played by Bill Goodwin. He will be considerably more harassed in tomorrow's show than you see him right now, I assure you. George Has a Birthday was written by Jean Clifford Raymond and starred Eddie Cantor. With May Clark, Lillian Bronson, Madeline Holmes, and Paul Cavanaugh. Our cast included Benny Baker, Britt Lamond, Russell Whitney, and Norm Alt. Toys through the courtesy of Mattel Incorporated. Our play was directed by Boris Segal. The NBC Matinee Theater is devised and produced for NBC by Albert McCleary. The preceding program has been brought to you in compatible color, pioneered and developed by RCA.